Welcome everybody to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Eldridge Air Conditioning. And boy, do we need it at the minute. I hope you're all doing well in this weather. You'll have to excuse me if you can hear the fan in the background. I'm in this little office room trying to do these things. I've got the big TV going, I've got the mic going, I've got the PS5 going, I've got everything going, and it gets very warm in here, so I've had to switch the fan on. So if you can hear it, I do apologise, and I hope it doesn't distract too much from the racing that we've got ahead. And wow, are we in for a treat. As you can see on screen, we are at Tokyo Expressway, and when I say you're in for a treat, I've not previewed this race at all. It's just every time we watch a race at Tokyo, it really does throw up some fantastic racing. Weather very unpredictable, and I think with these guys, I've not even said where we are, do I really? But we are on the Wednesday GT3 challenge. Now, if you've been following this, you'll know all about the rules, etc. But the main thing is the weather is random, and as I say, Tokyo within GT7 is pretty much known for its wet weather. It is a street circuit, 4 miles of it, 16 turns, and we are on the, which one are we on? We're on the counter-clockwise, Tokyo Express South, counter-clockwise, just to make things even more difficult. Brilliant track, very technical in some parts, very fast flowing track in others. Now, as I said, we are with the Wednesday guys, the League One guys, for their GT3 challenge. I will very quickly run through the rules. It is the guys get to choose 2 GT3 cars at the beginning of the season. They can use either car in any of the races. There are no restrictions on that score, but they do have to stick with the 2 cars they chose. So you may see them, I don't know, in a Jag one week and a Supra the next week, but that's their choice. First race, two 25-minute races for you. The first one is just an out-and-out sprint race using medium tyres. Second race is 2 tyres, so there will be a mandatory stop. It is softs and hards that are required in race 2. Now then, we are at, where are we? We are at round 7. We are flying through this season. We're at round 7 of 10, and there's been some fantastic racing. Now, I'm not really very well prepared actually today, so I do apologise. It's the heat and my age. I will get you the league table for next week. I promise I will get you the league table for next week. So where are we next week? If I can just find it, we are at Sardinia on the B track layout next week. So I will get you the league table for then. So in the meantime, we're just going to crack on with this first race. So it is sunrise, I have been assured. It does look a bit dark and murky out there, doesn't it? And all the street lights are on. But you can see all the lights in the offices, so people are turning up for work and they're in for a treat because we've got some racing around these streets while they're looking out of their office windows. So we're going to have a run down the grid. We've got 12 on grid out of 16, so only 4 missing, which is a great turnout. So without further messing about, I'm just going to go down the grid and we'll get this race started, shall we? Now, as you can see, we've got Osman has managed to put himself on pole position. This is after 10 minutes of qualifying. Neil Farmack is in second, just behind him. In third is Grasshopper. Fourth on the grid is Matty Older. Bennett is fifth. Unforgiven is sixth. Nath is in seventh, and I want to do so. Big thank you to Nath for saving and sharing the replays. It does make life so much easier when people do that, and do them quickly as well. So again, thank you for that, Nath. Eighth is Method, our American driver. YT is 9th. Brian Moncani, the Belgian Bullet from, he's in 10th. Carlsberg is 11th, and 12th is Stealth. So back up to the top, we will get the normal camera view going and we'll get this race underway, shall we? Get them lights out, and you can see it is a bit dark out there. All headlights are on, but we are away. Now then, as I've said, this is the Tokyo Express South, counterclockwise, so many of you will probably be used to doing it the normal way around, but we like to make things just that little bit difficult. This track, very tight. For those that play the game on a regular basis, you will know it's very tight. You can't really leave the track. There are walls and barriers everywhere, so even if you do smash into it, you're not going anywhere, which also makes the racing very exciting. So into call it sort of Docklands. It's more of a bit of a yard area, isn't it? Around turn 2, 3, 4, and then into the left-hander of turn 5. Osman then leading from Neil Farmack, who does have already had a bit of a scrape with the barrier. Grasshopper still in 3rd, Matty Older holding position in 4th, Bennett is 5th, Brian Moncani 6th, then Unforgiven, Nath, Method, YT. Oh, YT just ahead of Stealth. Stealth already made a couple of places up to Carlsberg and Method. Now then, they've slowed down. Has everybody slowed down? No. YT is still going for it. It looks like Method and Carlsberg did slow down, so let's just go back. Did they have a bit of a coming together? We're going to go on board with Carlsberg, who's at the back. So we come around this sort of storage unit area through turn 5. Now then, this turn 6, this right-hander is very, very tricky, very easy to hit the barriers, and I'm wondering if that's what's happened. Oh, Method just got it. Oh, Method got it all sorts of wrong then, doesn't it? Now, Carlsberg slowed down. It wasn't his fault, and we will go back and have a look at that. If you see that Method does lose control of the car, it has a bit of a touch with YT, hits the barrier and then comes right across the front of poor old Carlsberg. Carlsberg really couldn't do anything about that, in my opinion. He has slowed down, and that's why he was going so slow. So he slowed down to let Method through, but in this commentator's humble opinion, I don't think he needed to, as I would put that down just to Method just losing control and come across the front of Carlsberg. So not the best of starts for these two guys, and now quite a gap to catch up, although Stealth has got a bit of a smile on his face. He's already made up 2 places. Now we've got the yellow flag out again. This track really does like to throw up these little issues for us, doesn't it? Now then, I can't see anything that's wrong, so whatever it was has been sorted. So we've got nobody else off track. Osman though trying to open up a bit of a gap back to Neil Farmack. Neil Farmack staying with him in the Subaru. Probably suited for this track, I'm not sure. I've not raced with the Subaru myself. I've been told it is quite a handful, but once you do get used to it, it is a good car. Bennett is sitting in 3rd in the Supra, very quick car. I do like the Supra. And Bennett doing very well at the minute. He's already made up a couple of spots to get himself up into P3 with Unforgiven sitting behind him in 4th. Then we've got Brian Moncani in 5th. He's made up a lot of spots, hasn't he? Started 10th on the grid, did Brian Moncani. Now up to 5th, just behind Unforgiven. In fact, we'll go on board with Brian. He's in the AMG, something he does favour. He does use the AMG quite a lot. As we go through this storage section again. At turns 2, 3, 4. Then we're into turn 5. A quick look behind us and we can see Nathan, the BMW, having a bit of a touch with Barrier himself. Then that's going to slow him down, scrub a few tenths off as Brian Moncani takes on turn 6 and tries to catch up to the back of Unforgiven. Quick look in the mirror now, there is a gap starting to appear between himself and Nath. Nath coming under a lot of attention from Grasshopper, and we're going to go back and have a look at that. Grasshopper practically pushing Nath along. We've got YT in there as well. Well, there is not a lot of room in there, is there? All 4 cars battling away. What a fantastic battle over there. Sparks flying all over the place. You can see Matty Alder's in there. Stealth is trying to get involved as well. They're having a bit of a tussle at the back as they come to this hairpin at turn 11. Matty Alder gets round in 9th. Grasshopper, where is he? Oh, who's that that's gone wide? It's all happening. Poor old Matty. It's Matty Alder that has, at the back end's just come round of him on turn 11 at this hairpin. You get on the power too quickly and that's what happens. Big old snog with Barrier for Matty Alder, and that's dropped him down to 10th. He's going to get overtaken by Method as well, and Carlsberg will soon be on his tail. So poor old Matty suffering there. Carlsberg is now going to be right on his backside. But the livery's missing as well, unfortunately, unless Carlsberg's just picked that car up and not bothered putting a livery on it. But I'm pretty sure he had a better livery than that. In fact, he did, didn't he? He had a black and white one last week. So I commented on how much I liked it. So it's unfortunately a bit of the GT gods have decided to not put the livery on it. Back up to the top though, Osman looking comfortable at the minute. in the Jag. Fantastic car is the Jag. I use it on a Wednesday myself. We're in League 2. If you want to see some fantastic racing in there, head over to Thingamajig's Racing channel and you will see some brilliant battles in the F-Type 1 Series championship that we've got running there. But in the meantime, Osman is finding out what a great car that Jaguar really is, and he's showing everybody a clean pair of heels. Neil Farmack still sitting in second, but losing touch of Osman out in front. Bennett in the Supra doing a fantastic job so far of holding on to P3 in the all black Supra. Looking very mean, isn't it? But I do like it. Unforgiven sitting in fourth at the minute, looking quite comfortable, although Brian Moncani is chasing him down, and you're not going to miss Brian Moncani, are you? Well, it does look like he's getting closer. The AMG is, unexpectedly pretty good round here. I thought it'd be a bit too much of a lump for these kind of tracks, but Brian Moncani really got to grips with it as they go around turn 11 at the hairpin for the third time. Nath down in 6. He's got Grasshopper all over him, and these three still battling away. There was 4 in there, wasn't there? Let's have a look. YT right behind Grasshopper. Stealth up to 9th. So Stealth started 12th and has made his way up into 9th. Yes, there's been a couple of issues in front of him, but you've got to be there, haven't you, to make the places up. So well done to Stealth in 9th in the GTR. Method in the NSX battling away with Matty Older. Matty Older just had that big bump at turn 11, didn't he, a lap ago? So he's trying to get something out of this race, do a bit of a recovery race. Then we've got Carlsberg down in 12th. Bit of a gap opening up between himself and Matty, so whether Carlsberg's had another bit of an issue, maybe the Genesis is not liking these Tokyo Street Circuit. We shall see as he tries to catch back up, though, back up to the top in the Jag. Somebody who is enjoying himself out there is Osman, the Welsh wizard with a wheel, leading the way, and all Neil Farmack can do is try and keep him within his sights. But Neil doing a great job of holding on to P2 in that Subaru. Bennett in 3rd. So the top 3 spread out really, not pushing each other along, just going about their business. Unforgiven sitting in 4th. He can see the back of Bennett, just can't quite get close enough to him. That BMW struggling around this track, I think, to keep up pace with the Supra. He's just got to rely on Bennett making a couple of mistakes, and Unforgiven just keeping it nice and clean. Brian Moncani likewise in 5th. Just cannot get close enough to Unforgiven to make a move, and even if he did, this track isn't very forgiving when you do try to overtake. There's not a lot of room. You've got to pick your moments, and the straights really between turn 6 and then up to the hairpin is where you are going to get the best results. Nathan 6, YT in 7th, spreading out a little bit now, aren't they? Method in 8th. Oh, we've got a bit of a fight going on now for P8 as Method holding on to it at the minute in the NSX. Stealth in 9th, Matty Older in 10th. Let's jump on board, shall we, with Stealth as he makes a move on the NSX of Method. As they head down towards turn 1, then it is Stealth just ahead of Method. Method just eases off and slots in behind Stealth, so a good move from Stealth as he makes his way down towards turn 2, and it looks like Method's coming back at him. He is. Oh, this is great racing on these narrow streets. Let's get out of there so we can see what's happening, shall we? Quick look in the mirror. Oh, Matty decides to go around the outside, or is he trying to get the cutback? He is. Hard on the brakes for Matty. What a fantastic move from him. Got the cutback, the old switcheroo on Stealth. Not a lot Stealth could do about that, and he's gone from 8th down to 10th as Matty and Method go through. Great stuff. Great overtake from Matty. That's got to be overtake of the day so far. Now then, Grasshopper has just come into the pits, and not sure what that was all about. But I'm sure he did go into the pit. In fact, I'm going to go back and have a look, because I'm sure he went into the pit. He did go into the pits. So I'm not sure what was going on with Grasshopper. There are no mandatory pit stops in race 1. So only he knows why he did that. It doesn't look like he's put a fresh set of tyres on either, because there was a little bit of wear on them. He didn't put any fuel in, I don't think. Or did he? I don't know. Only Grasshopper knows that, and if he's watching this, if he can drop something in the comments just to let us know why he decided to come into the pits. Back up to the top though, and Osman looking very commanding out in front. In fact, it looks like he's going to be catching up to the back of Grasshopper. So Grasshopper could possibly get lapped in this first race. Neil Farmack still sitting in second, Bennett in third. All on his own, actually, is Bennett. Well, you can just about see Unforgiven in the background. Unforgiven now then. Brian Moncani is getting a little bit closer, as is Nath getting a bit closer to Brian Moncani, so we could see a bit of a battle on our hands when Nath and Brian Moncani catch up to the back of Unforgiven. So Unforgiven is just going to have to be a little bit careful. Defending is pretty easy on this track. It's the getting past that is the problem as they head down towards turn 2. Very tight right-hander into turn 2, and then you carry on around, almost treating it as one big turn through turn 3, then into turn 4, this right-hander, and then you've got the left-hander of turn 5, up a very, very slight hill, and then you're into turn 6, this long sweeping right-hander, and you can see there Unforgiven nearly scraping the barrier. Very easy to do there, very tempted to get on the power too early, but Unforgiven managed to get round without touching the barrier. Still in 4th, Brian Moncani in 5th. Now the dogs decided to come in and say hello. Nath in 6th. Let's jump on board with Nath, shall we, as we head towards this turn 11, this tricky hairpin bend. Again, being very careful on the power. We saw what happened to Method earlier. The back end had completely come around on him. Quick look in the mirror. Whitey in 7th, but no real danger at the minute. So Nath fully concentrating on the back of Brian Moncani's AMG. Brian Moncani trying to push Unforgiven along, put him under a lot of pressure, and Nath is just poised, isn't he, ready to pick up any pieces from these two when they do start fighting. And it's going to be pretty soon, actually, as Brian Moncani really does try and push Unforgiven along, but Nath himself is getting closer to Brian Moncani, so Brian Moncani may have a bit of defending to do himself here. Again, a quick look in the mirror, and Whitey, well, he seems to be dropping off. So unfortunately Whitey's not going to catch up with Nath, Brian and Unforgiven anytime soon, unless something happens. Then we've got Matty and Stealth battling away 9th and 10th. Carlsberg down in 11th, and Grasshopper, well, it's just a mystery, isn't it, to what happened to him, but he's now down in 12th. If we go back up to Stealth and Matty Older, these two battling away. Now, I've said this on quite a few occasions, you do not need to be right at the front to have a good race. Stealth and Matty battling it out for P9. Stealth in the GTR, Matty in the BMW, and we can just see Carlsberg coming around the corner in the distance there as they go around turn 6. Now then, this is the best chance you get for an overtake, because it's not a straight, there are a few kinks in the road, but this is the fastest section of the track. It really is foot down to the floor, and Stealth just cannot get close enough to Matty. He's not quite in the slipstream, is he? We're going to go back up and see what's happening with Osman. It looks like he keeps scraping the barrier, doesn't he? But he's not. He is actually keeping it all very nice and tidy, and making it all very easy at the minute is Osman. He'll soon be catching up to the back of Grasshopper. So Osman having a fantastic race. Neil Farmack in second. Where are we? We are 14 minutes gone off the first 25-minute race. So 11 minutes to go. So these two just got to hold on. Bennett in third, so he could get himself onto the podium. Now then, I'm not sure if Bennett has actually been on the podium yet. I'm just going to have a quick flick through my notes. And no, I don't think he has. So Bennett has not been on the podium yet. So he'll be doing everything he can to hold on to that P3. He fancies a sip of champagne, doesn't he? And he's certainly heading in that direction at the minute. Looking very good is Bennett in that Supra. Let's get a closer look at the Supra, shall we? And there we go. No mistaking, it's Bennett. It's written all over it. Sorry for the jerky camera. It's because the track's not that wide, and the drone can't get far enough away from it. That's my excuse anyway. Unforgiven then still sitting in fourth. Brian Moncarney still in fifth with Nathan sixth. So these two just following each other around at the minute. It does look like Brian Moncarney and Nathan are in the slipstream of Unforgiven. Not that it's of any use to them really, because as soon as you get close you've got to slam your brakes on because another damn turn turns up. As right on cue we're pulling up to turn 11, the tight hairpin. Now then, Brian Moncarney just looking for a good exit out of turn 11 so he can get right up the chuff of Unforgiven, and that's exactly what he's got. And I think Nathan's still within the slipstream. I think you have to be within 8/10 of the car in front to be in the slipstream. Brian Moncarney definitely is in the slipstream of Unforgiven. It's just whether Nathan's close enough to the two of them. If he is, then he could benefit from a double tow almost. Brian Moncarney just very frustrated at the minute. He seems to get a good exit out of one of the turns, gets right up the back end of Unforgiven, but Unforgiven manages just to edge away from him, gets himself a car length between the two of them, and Brian Moncarney cannot find a way past. But this is where the battle is at the minute for fourth. The front three are, well, they're not that far up the road, but they're far enough to not be in any danger at the minute. Nay still sitting in sixth. Then we've got a bit of a gap then back to YT. He's all on his own at the minute. Same with Method sitting in eighth. Matty Older in ninth. Stealth in 10th, and we've got Carlsberg in 11th, and Grasshopper a long way back, isn't he? Grasshopper in 12th, but he did stop, and the blue flags are being waved for Grasshopper, so that must mean that Osman is not that far away from him. Same with Neil Farmack and Bennett. Although I think the gap for Bennett is a bit too much to ask at the minute to catch up to the two guys in front of him. See if we can find any real battles. It is still Unforgiven. Brian Moncarney. Nathan's just dropped off a little bit, so he needs to pick up the pace if he wants to catch up to the back of these two again. Brian Moncarney still trying to push Unforgiven. Still trying to force a mistake from him. Unforgiven just soaking it up like the sponge he is. He really is not succumbing to that pressure from Brian Moncarney. Brian Moncarney doing everything he can to unnerve Unforgiven, but Unforgiven's having none of it. In fact, we'll jump on board with Brian as we try and chase Unforgiven down. We're heading down towards turn 2 now, and it just looks like that BMW has just got maybe one or two more horses than the AMG. Maybe it might just be a weight thing, I don't know, but Brian just does not seem to be able to catch him up in a straight line. Oh, Brian going a little bit wide there, but oh, and it all got very bit twitchy for him, but he's managed to hold on to it and stay within touching distance of Unforgiven as well as they go into turn 6. This right-hander, long sweeping right-hander, bit of a scrape with the old barrier there, both of them actually, but now Brian gets a fantastic exit, gets very, very close to Unforgiven. Is he going to make a move? Not that there is a lot of room. Oh, he is. He's going up the inside. Unforgiven, he's still fighting him. Where is he? Where is he? We can just see him in the mirrors, and I think Brian Moncani has got the job done. Yes, he has. So good pass from Brian Moncani in the tunnel section as we come up towards turn 11 now then. Is Unforgiven going to have another go now out into the braking zone at turn 11? We're going to keep an eye on this, but no, it looks like Brian has got himself a good exit. So fantastic racing from Brian Moncani to get himself up into P4. He's been pushing for that, hasn't he, for about the last 4 or 5 laps. Patience paid off for him. A slight mistake from Unforgiven, scraping the wall. I think Brian did it as well, but not as much as what Unforgiven did, and that allowed Brian to get even closer to Unforgiven and then make that move. So Unforgiven down into 5th, but he's staying with Brian. Nath, he's still there. He's not gone away, has he? And Whitey, well, Whitey seems to have picked up the pace. I'm just having a look. Yeah, lap 10 at 1:58.7. So Whitey just pushing that little bit harder to try and catch up to the back of the two or three guys in front of him. Method down in 8th. Now then, fastest man on track is Osman with a 1:57.5. Stealth was doing well, his last lap was lap 10 was a 2 minutes. Matty Older, a 1:58.6 was his last lap. That was his fastest lap actually. So Matty going a little bit quicker than Stealth, so should be catching him up. We are just approaching 21 minutes of this first 25-minute race. Colesberg in 11th. His last lap was in 2 minutes, and then Grasshopper. Well, it's a steady 58s, 59s for Grasshopper, but he did make a pit stop for some reason. We don't know. Osman out in front at lap 10 was a 1:57.8, his fastest lap a 1:57.5, so he's not really letting up, is he? He can see the back of Grasshopper's car as well, so Osman would dearly love to lap Grasshopper, and I'm sure that is what he's going to try and do. He is going to push and push and push. You can almost hear him shouting through the visor as his helmet, come on, he needs to catch Grasshopper and lap him. Neil Farmack in second, pretty steady from him. His fastest lap of 57.9, so only 4 tenths off of Osman's quickest. Bennett, he's in the 57s as well, 57.8, so only 3 tenths for Bennett. So he's had a good race, hasn't he, in race 1? Not that he's had a lot of work to do, he's just had to try and stay up there, but not really been involved in any of the battles. Then we've got Brian Moncani in 4th. Wow, he's had a brilliant race as Brian here, and talk about battling with Unforgiven and Nath. It has been almost non-stop since they started. Excuse me. And Brian Moncani now just holding on to P4. Unforgiven in P5 with Nath in 6th. Then we've got YT, Method in 8th, Stealth, Matty Older, Colesberg down in 11th, and poor old Grasshopper down in 12th and being chased down by the leader. As Osman enters, it looks a bit foggy in there, doesn't it? Is something on fire? Well, now this is interesting because we've got just over 2 minutes to go, and Osman's fuel light has started to come on. So it's telling him when the fuel light flashes, I think it tells you you've got about a lap and a half or something like that to go. And this is going to be very interesting as Osman is into the pit. Osman has pitted. The race leader has come into the pits. Now then, is Neil Farmack going to do the same as well? Yes, he is. Wow, this could be wide open for Bennett, and Bennett goes through and takes the lead as Osman comes out just behind him. Osman's had to come into the pits to get a splash of fuel. So Bennett is now the leader of this race with about a minute and a half to go. So come on, Bennett, we're all rooting for you. Osman in second on the chase. Brian Moncani has moved up into P3. Unforgiven in 4th. Nath is 5th. Where is Neil Farmack? Well, how much fuel did he take on? quite a lot actually, and that's dropped him all the way down to P7. He looked like he was cruising along to get that second step of the podium. What a bizarre finish to this race then. So if we go back up to the top, Bennett out in front, the fuel light now flashing, but he has only got a minute left, and I'm sure he's not going to go and come into the pits. He will definitely not be throwing this away. Come on, Bennett, just tell that super, just sip that fuel, just little sips, don't drink too much of it. We need to get you to the end of this race. Osman in second, getting closer and closer and closer. The fuel light is back on again for Osman, but there's enough in there now to see him to the end of the race. Brian Moncani in third. The fuel light is on for him in the AMG. In fact, they're all running out of fuel now. Unforgiven in fourth. YT fifth. We are just last 15 seconds. Neil Farmack in seventh. Put way too much fuel in, did Neil. Method is eighth. Stealth in ninth. Then we've got Matty Older, Carlsberg, and then Grasshopper at the back. So back up to our leader, and this is where I'm going to stay now to the end of the race. It is Bennett. We are now on the final lap as we're coming around turn 11, the hairpin for the final time. We just want to see if Bennett can hold on. He just needs to keep it on the tarmac and keep it pointed in the right direction. Osman is right up his chuff now and pushing him all the way. Osman in second, led for the whole of the race, and then had to come in to get some fuel, and you can see he's just took the fastest lap again. But Bennett, we are now coming around through 13, 14, 15. We've got the left-hander of turn 16 to go, which is the final turn of this race, and it looks like Bennett, if he can just hold on. Oh, as Osman has a bit of a scrape with the wall, that is going to fall right into Bennett's hands, and he is going to take the checkered flag. Well done, Bennett. Unlucky for Osman, led for most of the race. Brian Moncani, Brian Moncani takes third with Unforgiven in fourth. What a fantastic finish. YT gets fifth. Neil Farmack, wow, sixth. He's gone from P2 down into P6. Nath across the line in seventh. Method, he will come across the line in eighth. Well done to him. Stealth across the line in ninth with Matty Older in 10th, and Carlsberg 11th, with Grasshopper finishing a lap down in P12. P12? I'm getting myself all mixed up now. What a dramatic finish to this race. I think the fuel situation just caught Osman and Neil Farmack out. They were just too busy racing and clocking up some fastest laps, whereas Bennett was keeping an eye on the fuel. Wow, what a brilliant race. Join me back here very, very shortly for race 2, when I'm sure we are going to get pretty much some of the same.